The eighth and final movement of Kata Pinan Shodan basically has us looking back to where we started. So the last motion, however, is looking away. We land basically in a low block position. So assuming I land facing this reference, what I'm going to do here is another second of the kata is 270-degree pivot. So I'm going to end up looking at what is my forward line. But instead of landing in a double knife hand, we're going to land up in a low block. So from here, I pivot. I start to set up the low block as I look, setting up the low block, blocking hand on the shoulder, reaction hand across the body. Look, step back from behind, complete the pivot, and low block. The next technique in this movement is going to my 45-degree line. I'm going to step forward with a high block. I'm going to deliberately shift to show the high block a little better. So landing in the low block, I'm going to go out on my open side, 45 degrees. In this case, that will be my 2 line. I'm going to look towards that 2 line. I'm going to start to step towards that 2 line. As I do, my left hand comes up across my body. Reaction hand for the high block. As my right hand crosses behind it, fist closed. This is very similar of a cross block to the double knife hand, except being the high block, both fists are closed. Looking at that line, stepping. The direction of this hand, I'm opening my finger to indicate it's going to uppercut first, then it's going to turn forward. So the high block is not actually going vertical, and it's not going horizontal. It's going 45 degrees up. The reaction hand that was here draws in left hand back to the hip. So from the low block, look, start to cross, step forward as the weight lands, extend, don't lean, don't break posture, sink into the stance, a little front loaded and little weight loaded into the front leg, so a little front loading. Turn the hands over and in front. Again, assuming, just so front arm is captured by the camera, assuming the low block landed here, look 45 degrees, start to bring the hands up into high block, step forward, so cross from the chest, right hand is going to come up, forward, left hand's going to come back to my hip. If I'm thinking about my forearm, my upper arm, I want my upper arm pretty much in reference to my shoulder. I want it not too much above or below, certainly not below. I want it as parallel to the ground basically as I can make it. From there, my forearm is going to be about 45 degrees up from this position, and my wrist is going to be turned. If this is flat, it's going to be turned 45 degrees. Basically driving this part of my fist up in that direction. Okay. What's different from the Seito high block is it's not interpreted as being fully over the head, although it may be shown in that way. It's not typical to use this block to deflect something coming straight down. That's not our standard interpretation. So while other arts deliberately try and cover the crown of the head, the Seito high block doesn't have to. And one indication I have for my own body reference is this little arch in my wrist. I want to make sure it's past, if this is my right arm, I want to make sure it's just about over my left eye. So this elbow might be slightly up, then parallel with the ground forward, but it's not the same as if the elbow was fully up, protecting this way. So to show the full final movement, it's mirrored. So we do a 270-degree turn with a low block, step forward, high block, turn to the opposite side, low block, high block. So again, originally facing this way, Body will turn, the face here, step forward 45, look over the shoulder, repeat, low block, step forward 45, high. Closing the kata from the end of the final movement. It's as simple as looking back to where we originally announced the kata. In this case, I'm turning 45 degrees to my right, my tool line. Sliding my right foot into furudachi, opening my hands in front of me, closing the fists down to close the kata.